And it's a new day and a new dilemma in the backyard. It's always something. So, some time ago, and that roaring noise in the background is the heat coming on. Sorry about that. But some time ago, we bought this Quickjack system, and we did several videos on it, and I was very happy with it. Worked really good. And really what we did is we put the MG project up on the Quickjacks, and it raised it up to a nice working height, and we've been working on it for quite a while, way too long, months and months and months, maybe even a year. So trying to make some more room inside the shop because it's cold outside, and I was going to drop the MG down onto some pans so I could roll it around, and the Quickjacks don't work. There's always something. So over here you can see over there we have the pump and motor assembly, and when we plug it in and hit the go button, it just goes click 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 and the lights dim, and that's it. So my suspicion is that the motor doesn't want to turn for some reason. It's possible, I suppose, that it's gotten some condensation or something in it, you know, some moisture, who knows, but I don't think it's the hydraulic side that's locked up. I think it's the electric side that's locked up. So we've kind of sent a note off to the company and waiting to hear back what they suggest. But you know, the problem is that when you set these things up, what you do then is you raise it up and then you lower it down against these stiff legs. So in order to get it to come down, you have to go up first and take the load off the stiff legs and then lower the unit down. So you can't really even bleed the system down right now, because technically it's not sitting on the hydraulics, it's sitting on those stiff legs. And I don't have a jack system around here that will go up high enough to simply jack the car up and pull the quick lifts out and do it that way. And the bad part of that is that you got to do both sides at the same time, because the quick lifts are two separate units. So that's the drama for today. We'll see what we can figure out. What we've done is, crash, clunk, separated the motor unit from the manifold. This would be the manifold. This is where the control valves are. Hydraulic pump is in there somewhere, I'm sure, and then the reservoir's down there. But here we have the electric motor, and you can see there that that's all full of crap. And my suspicion would be is that motor is locked up. We'll look at that next, and I'm going to try to get that water and crap out of that manifold. But this is a good lesson for people using this Quickjack system. You know, if you got a garage and you wash your car, or you're hosing the floor, or don't let this unit get anywhere near where it can get water in or around it, because the result will not be good. We'll do some cleanup work here. Just rusty, crappy water. Wow. And that's been in there for a while. Lord only knows when that happened, because the manifold's starting to turned crappy here. Apparently there's not, one would think, there you go, it's like assuming that this would be sealed up pretty tight, but obviously it's not. Hard to say where the water comes in, you know, in between this surface where the motor bolts on, or if it comes in somewhere else. Hard to say, but this is the bottom of the unit because the rubber feet are here, and this is where most of the liquid was, and this is where there's some corrosion here that's built up. So we're going to have to clean that surface, and I have to look and see what's down inside that unit there, just to see if there's a shaft in there. I mean, there's still liquid down inside the middle there. And we can determine if we can turn this side of it or the other side of it. Yeah, it's still, golly. Whew. I don't know what's down in there. Should be a pump down in there, but boy, it sure is crappy. Hope we can save this thing. That would be the ultimate disaster if we can. Okay, so we'll continue our little backyard tutorial on the Quickjack 110 volt AC pump motor system here. We've taken the thing apart. Now, what you want to do when you take it apart for sure is mark your bits so that the orientation is correct. Even, you know, if you don't know how it's going to go back together, take a picture of it, put some marks on there so you get it back together the same way. So we've had this shaft on that shaft, and we managed to saw it was loose, so we pulled it off. And this is a coupler that goes between the motor, it's keyed there, and the pump. Let's see, here it is over there. The pump over here, and it's got this sort of rectangular slot in it, and there's a tab down in there on the pump. But what we can see is that the pump turns. So if there's any good news, that's the good news. The pump is not seized up. The motor, however, is another story. That shaft just will not turn. So what we're going to do now, there's 4 Allen bolts in here. We're going to take this plate off and see if hopefully the shaft is seized where it comes through this plate. We'll just keep disassembling, see what we get. These Allen screws are pretty tight, and these are all metric, of course, because this is Chinese. So this is a number 4, and we soaked them to get them loose. And see if we can spin them up out of there. Sometimes when you get Allen bolt like that that's tight, get yourself a normal Allen wrench and put it in there, at a right angle Allen wrench is what I'm talking about, normal, and tap on it lightly with a hammer while you're trying to turn it, and sometimes that'll help break the threads free. So there you have those bolts there. Pull them up out of there. One thing that could be a problem is if this shaft is corroded this housing may not want to come up over that shaft, because I have to assume that that's a pretty snug fit. So we'll just see. Let's drop things. That's what we do. Drop everything. Let's see if we can. Oh, look at that. Just came right off of there like it was nothing, because it is nothing. We still have the problem here in the motor. Probably the bearing is probably junk. Keep in mind, when you take this plate off, there are some lock washers down inside that plate. And make sure you get all them. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, and of course, I think one got away. And you know, once it hits the floor, them little buggers run like crazy once they hit the floor. It could be outside by now, but we'll find another one. So, really, what we've got to do, shine some light there so you can't see anything. What we got to do is get this freed up. Now I've got these bolts running through the motor, and I've taken them out. I got one there. I think I got. We'll see if we can get this end plate off and keep going. You got to be careful tapping on things. This Chinese stuff, and break looking at it. That doesn't really want to come off of there easily. This might be one of those things that was made in outer space and can't fix it. Every once in a while you get one of those. But man made on earth, man can fix it. And there it's starting to come up out of there. We'll get the camera out of the way here and see if we can get a bigger hammer or something, get it apart. That doesn't look good. There's a bearing here, and of course that bearing is seized, and here you can see where the moisture was and water level, and then there's enough condensation in there that it's created a bunch of corrosion on the aluminum, and that's not even really the bad part. Let's see if we can get you down inside here. It just doesn't look good. The armature refuses to turn, so I suspect there's a bad bearing on the other end. Now we could use a puller probably and get this bearing off of there and put a new one on. Oh baby, I don't know. If we could even get that armature out of the coils, we're going to have to turn this over and get the rear cover off and see what we got there, because this is just well, like I said, I'm no expert, but that doesn't look good. That's the commutator. Used to be. This, golly, this thing must have been in a swimming pool or someplace. Holy moly! Yeah. How would you like to be, in all fairness, the guy in the warranty department, and the customer sends this back and says, I don't know why it won't work. It's like, duh. Okay, well, we did, obviously the bearing here is bad and the bearing there is bad. Can we clean all this stuff up? I guess we can try. Knock all the rust and debris out of there. That's going to be interesting. I don't think we can hurt it. That's for sure. I don't think we can hurt it. I think it's already hurt to the max. So we'll see what we can do here. So we can clean this up a little bit and maybe get it to work. But lesson for today: don't let your Quickjack pump and motor assembly anywhere near moisture. You know, put it up on a stand off the floor, cover it up with a plastic bag if you're hosing your shop out or washing your car. Keep it away from moisture, because it'll kill it for sure. We got everything apart and sandpapered, cleaned, scrubbed, blown out with air hose, whatever. We also had these two bearings, one on either end of the shaft. This one was at the tail end, and we got it to turn. This one was at the front, and it don't want to move. So, boy, it was late in the day. We made a mad dash for the bearing store and got a couple of new bearings and dug out one of our old handy dandy pullers and pulled these off and put some new ones on and put everything back together. And the shaft turns, at least. So what we've done, we've got our motor plugged in and we're going to see if it works. Put some light on it there. How about that, huh? Spins like crazy. Maybe we saved it. I don't know. We'll have to finish putting it together. What we got to do is we have that coupler that goes in here. There's a keyway. So we got to put that on, and then we got to line up that sort of rectangular hole in the end of it with the pump so that everything lines up just right, and we'll bolt everything back together, and maybe, well, you know, boys and girls, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then. Our unit just raised up, and we'll flip those dogs around, see if we can lower these guys down, and Bob is your uncle. Man, we got lucky here. That's a Christmas gift and a half.